Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Frame Reviews. I'm Scott, and today we're reviewing Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero. I wanted to see this film because A, it wasn't in a lot of theaters around here. B, it was animation, and I absolutely love animation. But the main reason why I wanted to go and see this movie was because it was a very unique story. Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero, is about a dog in World War I that becomes one of the most decorated military dogs in American history. And it starts with his story from living on the streets, finding a base, and becoming friends with a young doughboy. And together they train and they accept this dog into their regiment. And then from there, they get shipped out overseas to France. And then he does a lot of things that save lives. Again, the unique thing about this is that World War I movies are hard to come by in general compared to Vietnam or let's say World War II. So whenever there's a World War I movie, I'm eager to jump at it, and also the fact that this is a kids movie makes it even more intriguing. Some of the voices that you hear are Helena Bonham Carter. You got Logan Lerman, who has been making a killing off of some old school war movies. And then, let's see, there are some other characters, some other people in here. But there are a lot of French voices, and nobody really in particular that I could see while staring down at my handy dandy notebook. And what I understood from this movie was that, okay, you're gonna get a story about a dog, and it's going to be all glorious and heroic and everything. This movie definitely is that, and also it takes some dark turns in certain places. First of all, I think the story in general obviously is one that you don't see often. So the notion that you're going to go into this movie and know what the story is about, unless you look it up before you go, you're probably in for quite a surprise. The next thing is the way they tell the story. They'd use a character off screen, so voiceover, and I have a friend who is somewhat mostly against voiceover, but I understand it in this situation where you have a kid's story. It's got some deep themes and deep historical roots, and so I think it's nice to have sort of a voice of reason, or someone who's telling you, hey, this is what's going on, just so that the kids can follow along. Other than that, you don't really see Helena Bonham Carter. Logan Lerman's character is very heroic. Learns some stuff from the dog, but his relationship with this other French soldier, which his name is like, oh man, it's like Gaston something or other. It's Gaston Baptiste. That's where this movie gets, to me, really fulfilling and really good. It's not just highlighting what's going on with U.S. troops in the trenches, but it actually shows I guess, as deep as an animated movie can, what life was like for the French soldiers before the Americans arrived. And just this heartfelt scene of Logan Lerman's character and Gaston Baptiste talking about their life after the war is really touching and somewhat heartbreaking, because he hasn't seen his children or his wife in 2 years, and he's really worried whether or not they're going to recognize him. Here is what I want everyone to know in case you get to see this in theaters or thinking about to see it in theaters. This movie does drag at times. It does get a little bit slow. But what they do to sort of reinvigorate your interest is their transitions throughout this become this weird painting style animation to show you what's going on. And actually, that happened a couple times where I'm like, I'm not paying attention. I'm fixated on the screen, but it was like I'm waiting. I'm kind of like drifting off, like kind of like looking all over, and then bam, there goes the transition, and then I'm onto it right away. I'm back in it. So it has that going for it. The next thing is there's not nearly as many action scenes as you think there's going to be, and I think that has to do with the fact that it lags in some point. But overall, I think it tells a very honest story. I think it does it very honestly, and I think it does it with a lot of heart. I think it does it. I enjoyed this movie, and the big thing is that the dog is going to be the draw, and the dog doesn't fail. The dog doesn't speak. The dog just does what the dog does, and there are some really sweet moments. So, if you're looking to go and check this one out, good luck. I don't know if it's going to be in theaters much longer. When I went, the theater was absolutely empty. I was the only person in there. And I think that's part of the reason why maybe got a little bit bored. There were no kids in there. There was nobody reacting to different things. It was just me staring at the movie at the screen. But go into this movie with open mind and really sort of just take in the story, because the story is unique. I think it's a nice story. It's fun, and it doesn't pull punches in certain areas. So that's what I liked. I'm gonna give Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero, a 2.5 out of 4 stars. Let me know if you've seen this movie. I know there's not a lot of reviews out there for it, but let me know if you've seen it, and if not, maybe check it out when it comes to home video. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.